You grip that pen like it owes you something. I'm taking notes. You haven't written anything in 4 minutes, Kola. What are you actually thinking about? The assignment. Liar. You're standing very close, sir.
Am I?
You know you are.
Tell me to move. That's what I thought. Kojo, I know. This is a terrible idea. The worst one I've ever had.
Don't stop. Hey, is someone in there?
Kola is not just shy. He is strategically invisible. 23 years old. Final year linguistics student at the University of Ibadan. Breathtakingly intelligent, quietly sarcastic, and carrying a grief nobody on campus knows about. His younger sister died 8 months ago, and he has not written a single word, cried a single tear, or felt a single thing since. He has sealed himself shut like a letter nobody was brave enough to send. His grades are perfect. His eyes are empty. His lecturers have stopped trying. Then the department announces a transfer lecturer from the University of Ghana, Dr. Kojo Asante, 36, brought in under an emergency academic exchange program to teach the language. Power and identity module. The entire female population of the faculty is immediately interested. Kola couldn't care less. Except on the first day, Kojo does something no lecturer has ever done. He walks in, drops his notes on the table, looks slowly around the room, and says, "Before we begin, I want everyone to write one true thing about themselves. Not for me. Just write it." The class groans. They scribble shallow things. Favorite colors. Hometowns. Kola stares at his paper for the entire 5 minutes. Then he writes, in tiny letters at the bottom of the page, "I think I forgot how to be a person." He folds it. Doesn't submit it. But somehow, impossibly, when he looks up, Kojo is already looking at him. Not with pity. Not with curiosity. With recognition. Like he has written that same sentence before. Kola looks away so fast he knocks his pen off the desk. He spends the rest of the lecture furious at himself and cannot explain why. Kojo teaches like a man who has survived something. His lectures are not performances, they are excavations. He pulls language apart and shows students the politics bleeding underneath. He quotes Ngugi wa Thiong'o and then goes silent for 30 seconds and lets the weight of it sit in the room. Kola, who has been sleepwalking through his degree, starts sitting closer to the front, then closer again. He tells himself it's academic interest. He is a terrible liar. Kojo begins noticing the way Kola listens, not just with his ears but with his entire body, leaning forward slightly, fingers pressing into the desk like he's trying to hold something still. He begins directing questions toward him, not to embarrass, to open. And Kola, against every instinct, keeps answering. Slowly at first, then with this devastating, precise intelligence that silences the room. After the 4th week, Kojo writes on a returned assignment, not a grade, not a comment, just a single question. "Who taught you to make yourself this small?" Kola reads it standing in the corridor and has to press his back against the wall to stay upright. He goes to office hours, just to argue about it. He tells himself, what begins as an argument becomes a debate. The debate becomes a weekly ritual. The ritual becomes the only hour of the week where Kola feels the seal on his chest, loosened slightly, just slightly, like a window opened in a room that has been shut too long. Kojo never flirts, never steps out of line, but he listens in a way that feels indecent, like he is cataloging every word Kola has ever swallowed and refusing to let them disappear. Kola starts dreaming about him and wakes up angry. The breaking point doesn't come from romance. It comes from truth. At campus literary night, students are invited to share creative work. Kola has not shared anything in over a year. Not since his sister used to sit in the front row for everything he read. His roommate signs him up without asking. Kola plans to simply not show up. He shows up. He stands at the microphone, looks out at the audience, sees Kojo sitting at the side of the room with a cup of tea, not expecting anything, not watching him specifically, just present, and something in Kola breaks open. He reads a poem he wrote the night his sister died and never showed anyone. Raw, devastating, grammatically imperfect and emotionally catastrophic. Halfway through his voice goes and he stops. The room is so quiet it hums, and then he finishes it. Every word. When he walks off the stage, his hands are shaking. Kojo meets him in the corridor outside, not to congratulate him, not to praise the poem. He just hands him a glass of water and stands beside him in silence while Kola stares at the floor and breathes. After several minutes, Kola says quietly, "I haven't cried since she died." Kojo says nothing. He just stays. That is the moment. Not a kiss. Not a confession. Just a man staying when everything in Kola's life has felt like leaving. Kola knows then that he is in serious, irreversible trouble. Things shift dangerously. The office hours become longer. The conversations move from linguistics to life to loss to laughter. Kola discovers that Kojo is wickedly funny in a completely dry, understated way that sneaks up on you. Kojo discovers that Kola, when he is comfortable, is one of the most alive people he has ever been near. Kola stops pretending he doesn't feel what he feels. He is 23, not naive. He knows what this is. He also knows Kojo is his lecturer, that this is complicated, that Kojo has given him zero indication that this is anything other than mentorship. Until the night Kola is leaving the office, and Kojo says almost to himself, almost like he didn't mean to, "I'm going to miss this. I'm going to miss you, terribly." Kola stops walking, turns around slowly. Kojo looks like a man who has just heard himself say something he has been fighting for months. He stands up, starts to retract it. "Kola, I shouldn't have." "Don't," Kola says. His voice is very steady. "Don't take it back." The silence between them is the loudest thing in the building. Kojo crosses the room, stops 1 foot away, close enough that Kola can see the conflict written all over his face. The want and the discipline at war with each other in real time. He cups Kola's face in his hands, gently, the way you hold something you are afraid of dropping, and then he steps back. "You have 4 months until you graduate," he says, voice rough. "I will not be the reason your degree is complicated. I will not be the thing that follows you like a shadow into your career. You deserve a clean start, Kola." Kola leaves without a word. He walks across the entire dark campus and sits by the lagoon for 2 hours. Then he goes home and writes 40 pages of his dissertation in one sitting, the best 40 pages of his academic life. The final month of semester becomes a slow, mutual, exquisite letting go. Kojo stops the office hours, maintains perfect professionalism, grades Kola's work with the scrupulous fairness of a man who will not be accused of bias, and Kola earns his first-class mark purely on merit, which they both know. But something else is happening. Kojo is quietly pulling strings. He has a contact at a prestigious linguistics postgraduate program in Accra, one that only accepts 1 international student per year. He writes Kola a reference letter. Not a good one. A life-changing one. He pours everything he cannot say out loud into that letter. The brilliance, the grief survived. The way Kola's mind works like a precision instrument wrapped in poetry, and he submits it without telling Kola. His sacrifice is this. He gives Kola the future. Knowing it takes him further away, Kola finds out 2 weeks before graduation when the acceptance letter arrives. He knows immediately. He goes to Kojo's office for the first time in a month. You did this. You earned it. Why? Kojo looks at him for a long time. Then, because watching you become who you are supposed to be is enough. It has to be enough. Kola's sacrifice is different. Harder, in its own way. At graduation, during the student address he has been chosen to deliver in front of the entire faculty, his family in the audience, Kola speaks about language and silence and the people who teach us that our voices are worth using. He doesn't name anyone. He doesn't have to. His eyes find Kojo in the crowd of lecturers and stay there for exactly 3 sentences. Everyone who matters understands. His mother, sitting in the 3rd row, quietly takes his father's hand. Kola is in Accra for his postgraduate program. He has been here 3 months. He is thriving, terrifyingly, beautifully thriving. He has made friends. He has published 2 poems in a continental literary journal. He has said the word gay out loud to his mother on the phone, and she cried for 20 minutes, and then said, "I know. I've always known. Come home soon." He finds Kojo's address the old-fashioned way, through a mutual academic contact, a forwarded email, a returned letter. He doesn't write. He shows up. Kojo opens the door on a Sunday morning, and they stand there, the lecturer and the student, except neither of those things is true anymore. Just 2 men standing on either side of a threshold, no classroom between them, no grade book, no semester ending. "You're in Accra," Kojo says, like he is making sure it's real. "I am," Kola says, "and you're not my lecturer anymore." A long pause, the kind that contains everything. Kojo steps aside and opens the door wider. "I have coffee." Kola walks in. Asterisk, and that began a love free with no limitations. Thank you for watching. Kindly let me know what you think about the story, and do well to subscribe, like, and share.